Hey everybody, this is Rustin with Metalholic and the Examiner. With me today, the brothers Patrick, Ryan and Adrian from, well, it feels like you got to feel like right now that otherwise is back home in Nevada in Las Vegas because it's like 110 degrees outside. We're in frickin' Boise.
I know, right? It's funny because it also kind of looks like Boise always reminds us of Reno. It's got the same landscape. We love Boise.
Yeah, I'm like, we did this just for you. We got it all nice, hot, and you know.
Appreciate that, Rustin.
Bring in the heat.
But you know, it's sort of weird. I could probably count on one hand the number of times a tour has actually kicked off in Boise. But Boise's already sort of become like a second home for you guys. You guys were here just a few months ago with Lacuna Coil, phenomenal show, and garnered a lot of fans in the area. So you guys are back tonight kicking off the new tour. You got Redline Chemistry along with you and everything for the ride. How's everything been going so far? Because it looks like it's blowing up big time for you guys.
Things are good, man. I mean, I'd like to think that things are blowing up. Like we're starting to notice a little bit how things are changing and how the hard work is starting to pay off.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the hard work has stopped because it's only become even harder now. So.
Right. Well, and last time you guys were here, I sat down and talked with the rest of the group, V, Flavio, and Corky. Flavio has moved on. I'm assuming V has moved over to take over bass.
Yeah, he's doing a hell of a job.
Our newest guy, V, you know, he's really stepped up.
He stepped up. He's a hardworking kid. You know, we're just talking about hard work. So we're very fortunate to have, you know, the road is not for everybody. You know what I mean? And so it's good to have, you know, some real solid road warriors. You know now, Flavio.
He got us to that place.
He helped us get here, you know, and we're gonna miss him, and you know, we hope he's happy in whatever he does next. So
he will be. He's cool. He was one of our good friends.
Yeah.
You know,
still is. He's still our good friend.
Yeah, he's cool.
We'll always be there for him. He's cool.
Well, we miss you, Flavio, but you guys originally sort of were a four-piece anyway.
Yeah.
With Flavio on bass, and then my understanding of the story is V just sort of parked on your front door and said, "I'm joining the band. You guys have to let me in.
Come listen to these songs."
He's like, "I'll just do whatever, man. Just let me know. Just let me work."
That was so funny. He's like, "Guys, I need you to come listen to these songs." And he pulls out his guitar, and then he's all nervous. His hands are shaking. He's like, "Man, I've never liked this, guys. I'm never like this." Like, yeah, all right.
But in a way, it's sort of paid off now. But you're back to being a four-piece and everything. Now, Ryan, for you as a guitar player, what's sort of the difference for you between having sort of that backup rhythm guitar player there and having to do it all on your own and be responsible for every note that comes out?
Am I about to admit this? Backing tracks. No. You know, when we did our album True Love Never Dies back in January, it was like a big deal for me as a guitarist because for once, I actually recorded lead and rhythm, everything on the album. And since I did do that, you know, I know all the parts like the back of my hand, so I'm not really nervous by the challenge. I'm ready to do it, and you know, we've got more speakers now. We've got a bigger stage show going. You know, we stepped it up little bit by little bit, so I'm excited.
More room on the stage now, obviously.
More room on the bus too.
Yeah, there you go.
More importantly.
Home away from home.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the debut album and everything in a minute, but first, because we didn't get a chance to last time, want to find out a little bit about you guys. Obviously, you guys are from Las Vegas and everything, but for each of you, was there an album or a moment, a song, a performance or something with a particular artist that just sort of sang to you and said, "This is what I want to do"?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably several moments like that. You know, my brother and I were, you know, we were touched by the first Third Eye Blind album, if you can believe that. You know, I mean, even though it's two totally different styles of music, it's still rock. You know, they're a rock band. They're not a pop band. They're not, you know, they were just a rock band. You know, that had some songs that became pop songs.
It became uber famous. That's why everybody was like, "Oh, they're pop." Or
yeah. It's like, you know, the old adage of, "Oh, they're sellouts." Well, yeah, they were selling out arenas. You know,
exactly.
So they had an amazing way of making dark lyrics and dark subject matter into poppy, you know, accessible music.
Yeah, like bright songs, and we kind of took the other side of that coin, and we kind of take positive subject matter and put it to a little bit more aggressive, a little darker presentation. So you know, that album definitely influenced us.
I remember.
Incubus is a huge influence on the both of us. I begrudgingly fell in love with that band because at the time when we started playing music, I was dating a girl, and she was just like she loved Incubus, you know. And so like being a young, you know, inexperienced and envious musician, I used to like, I don't like Incubus, but secretly I was like, oh my god, that is so good. You know, like
that's how I was with the Beatles too. Like one of my first relationships, the girl was just obsessed with the Beatles. Whatever, hate the Beatles. I hate them, but I love them. And then as soon as we broke up, I was like, yeah, alright, they're good. They're really good.
That's sort of one of the interesting things I noticed from my youth was there were these bands that were so overplayed on the radio that I could not stand them. And now, years later, when I listen to the songs and stuff, I'm like, this was really good stuff. But it was just so overplayed. But you guys have sort of come up a little bit in the grunge era and everything that sort of changed the face of rock and metal and all that good stuff. But it's always been interesting to me that there's always a movement by these people who say, oh yeah, they sold out. You know, now they're famous, you know, like the Nickelback syndrome, you know? Right. And it's like, I remember when I wanted to be a rock star when I was a kid, I don't ever recall wanting to make music that nobody really wanted to listen to just so I could seem angsty and not be a sellout. I wanted to make music that everybody loved.
Exactly. That's the
I wanted sellout crowds. I wanted people to come see me. You know, otherwise you could play in your garage for the rest of your life and, you know, who cares? So
that's a very salient point you make, man, because it's like, I never understood that dogma of, you know, what's wrong with making music that connects with millions of people? Like, what is
that the point?
What is so wrong about that? You know, and you know, whatever. You know, we've gotten some of the smaller, you know, like little sites have like kind of bashed our album, you know, because we're signed to Century Media and that's like a metal album and that's like, you know, and we're not screaming every lyric,
right?
And someone actually compared us to Nickelback. It was funny. One of the reviews was something along the lines of, I can see why this is going to be successful, but I don't like it. You know, it's like,
every single one is like, I get that it's like stadium-esque songs and that it connects to millions, but you know, I'm just not.
But it's just not my thing.
I would rather listen to the Cookie Monster and you know the Guitar in the Garbage Disposal. I never grasped that either. I mean, there's an art to all of that stuff, but why does everybody got to label everything and pick on the stuff that they just don't relate to for whatever reason? It's ridiculous. Sign of the times in this country, but I think it's sort of always been there on one level or another. But
and you know, it's funny, Rustin. You mentioned Nickelback. Like, we were never really huge Nickelback fans. There was a couple songs that came out that were like, wow, that's a good song, you know. And then a couple years ago, I think it was 2010, we got invited to their show at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and I'd never seen them live, and it was like, okay, I get it now. It was a giant party, 30,000 people partying. Half of the crowd was hot chicks, you know. So it was like there's flames and fireworks and those dudes are super tight, man. I mean, on stage they're like top-notch musicians. So it's just like, I get it now. You know?
And they were just here in town not too long ago. I saw the show and everything, and I'm like, the one thing that a lot of people who bag on them don't get is, you know, because they're not hard rock and metal like they were in the beginning. It's like, you go see them live, it's a lot heavier.
Oh yeah, that's the same thing I noticed. So I was like, damn, dude, these guys are heavy, man.
Yeah, I mean, they used to do Pantera covers back when, you know, on older tours before they had so many damn hits they couldn't do it and stuff like that. I mean, if you can pull off Megadeth and Pantera when you're a band like Nickelback, you know, and get respect from the crowd, you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
But you know, so I wish you guys that kind of success, and if everybody wants to call you a sellout, enjoy it at the bank. You know? So now, again, I want to talk about the album and everything because I know it's very personal for you guys as well as the great music and everything. But for you as a guitar player, was there a primary guitarist that sort of influenced you, that you sort of aspired to be like or drew from? Or
oh wow, that's an interesting question. I think Mike Einzinger from Incubus and Marco from POD. If those two guys could, you know, come together and raise a guy from toddler-esque to, you know, teenagers to adulthood, it'd be me.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's crazy because when we were at Energy in North Hollywood, Marco was there. They were mixing their album Murdered Love, and we actually just played with them at the Roxy for their CD release.
Yeah, day before yesterday.
And when we were there at the Roxy doing sound check, you know, they're on stage, and I'm like, oh, we've become friends with all the festivals we played this year. He's like, yo, man, I'm honored that you guys are playing with us. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I'm honored to be playing with you, man.
Switch that, reverse, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Right, that reverse.
exactly. So, well, that's really cool. And now, are you a gearhead or?
You know, honestly, I'm not. You know, I really am not. And I for a long time, I prided myself to not be a gearhead because I just wanted to focus on just playing. And I used to be kind of naive or ignorant towards it, and you know, I felt like gearheads would use their gear to make up for their lack of just being able to connect with the 6 strings.
Right.
And so for years and years and years, I just wanted to play the guitar. But now that we're at this level, I've realized that now I need to switch gears, no pun intended, and I need to focus on that. So Vasilios is very smart in that manner, and we're definitely stepping up now, especially since I am, you know, a lone guitarist once again.
Right. So now, are you? If I remember last time when you were here, you were a Les Paul guy.
Yeah, I'm a Gibson guy all the way.
Definitely, but
Honored to be endorsed by Gibson Guitars.
Marshall or?
Placement.
Yeah, exactly. You a Marshall amp guy or?
Triple Rec, Mesa Boogie. I like Mesa Boogie. On the album, we used Orange, which was really cool. The Orange Rockaverb amp head was really cool.
You're running now live, he's running a stereo on the other side of the stage with a Rivera, which is pretty, that's a great tone. You know?
We just had, on the radio station last night, we just had Jason Hook on from Five Finger, and
cool guy.
He's been working with Voodoo Amps, Trace Davis, who comes up with some really nice stuff, and we were talking about gearheads and everything, and Jason was sort of like, it's like tattoos, you know, it's like you get that first one, and then the next thing you know, you're addicted, and you're buying crap everywhere that you don't even need.
And that was also a big reason why I never got into gears, because I didn't have any money. You know? So like, you know, thick-headed, I'm like, I don't need pedals or anything or strings or.
So if there's any companies out there that would like to donate some gear,
call me.
So now for you as a vocalist, you know, were there a couple of guys or gals for that matter?
You know, I probably in the beginning, you know, Lane Staley and Scott Weiland. You know, I learned how to. I just singing along on the radio. You know, to a lot of their songs. I love you know his range, and I love Scott's tone. You know that the timbre of his voice. So those two as vocalists, as far as like sonically, were probably my first major influences. And then obviously lyrically, you know, Stephen Jenkins from Third Eye Blind is the guy's a poet. He was valedictorian at Berkeley. I think UC Berkeley. So anyways,
yeah, he's a Bay Area boy, so
yeah. So those three guys definitely in the early stages really kind of helped me try and find a path. But then of course, dude, I mean, Steve Perry from Journey is just like, I mean, I'm still trying to hit some of those notes, you know. That guy is just amazing. You listen to some of those recordings, and there was no auto-tune, you know, and maybe they could stretch the tape here and there a little bit, but I mean, as raw as that voice is, you know, it's so perfect, you know, and
now you take vocal lessons from the same guy who teaches him.
From a guy that I did some my first 2 vocal lessons with a cat named Roger Love down in LA, and he's coached Steve Perry, he's coached the guy from Def Leppard, Joe
with Bono too, didn't he?
I think he said he did a little bit of stuff with Bono, but he toured with Def Leppard. Yeah, Joe Elliott. It was awesome, man. You know, so I have a vocal CD now, and I use that every day to warm up, and I like to believe that it's making a difference. You know, I'm not as tired every night, and and I feel like I'm more on pitch than I ever have been before. So
and you were pretty locked in last time you were here. So, and the more you play, obviously, the better it gets anyhow.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, it all helps and adds up and everything. So, obviously, the big thing, of course, is the debut album, True Love Never Dies. And every album, every song has a story behind it. But this album is more so personal for you guys than most bands. And I know the guys told me a little bit about it, but because it was directly related to you guys, would you mind sharing the story with the...
Well, yeah, absolutely. True Love Never Dies came truly from our cousin, Ivan. He passed away on Halloween of last year, right after we had played the biggest show of our careers, and he was there on stage with us doing Soldiers. Like, he had a flag. It was at the 48 Hours Fest in Las Vegas. We played with all the big bands, and at that point, that was our biggest accomplishment, and he was there for it, and that was the last time we got to see him, because on Halloween night he passed away on his Harley.
And he was part of our crew. He was our drum tech. You know, he had a bunk on the bus, and
well, yeah, he was just like our brother. I mean,
yeah,
it's weird because we always talk about, you know, him with our music careers and him being around with otherwise, but then there's that whole like decade and a half, like
20 years before that.
Yeah, of him just being our cousin and us doing everything together. You know, the last thing he said to me was, "Cuz I used to change your fucking diapers." You know, like, I love you so much. Don't forget it.
I love you so much, cuz I used to change your diapers.
Yeah, we were standing. Godsmack was playing, and we had walked out from backstage, and he was standing with his girl, and he said that to me. You know, so we forget about that a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's because he was such a part of our lives, you know what I mean? You kind of take, it's like you take your limbs for granted until you lose an arm or something, you know? And he was just always there.
He was always there for us. He was always there for us, and you know,
he was our brother. You know, there's the three of us were kind of like the rock and rollers of the whole family, you know? And so
he was the one getting did he get his tattoos before you?
Oh yeah, dude.
You got to see, yeah.
He did everything first, that guy.
So you know, True Love Never Dies is the tattoo that he got across his neck.
Right.
And I remember when he did that, I was like, "Cuz, you are crazy,
you
man.
are crazy, cuz.
Now you have tattoos on your neck." He's like, "Yeah, cuz. Hell yeah, cuz."
Yeah.
And you know, he was on Soldiers. He came into the studio and sang chants. A few of the last shows we played, he came on stage with us and sang. And
so for the song to be doing as well as it has now on radio, it's, you know, it's very poignant for us, because it's like, you know, his voice is getting thrown out into the universe every time a radio station spins it, and so they're keeping his spirit alive. You know, people, whether they realize it or not, by calling in and requesting, they're helping us heal. You know, and
when you guys keep it alive every night when you get on stage, so.
Yeah, we'd like to believe he's there with us.
And that's the most important thing that you can do. Soldiers, of course, was the song that blew up. As a matter of fact, I thought it was at that show or a similar show that Jose Mangan from Sirius.
It was at
that he latched onto it, and don't worry, because, you know, 10 years from now, when you're as big as Nickelback, if not sooner, he'll be taking credit for your popularity. Sorry, Jose, I love you.
We give him credit every time we see
do.
So, but the whole album is packed with great songs. I mean, what are you guys thinking of for a second single? Are you even at that point yet?
You know,
the talk is, it's coming up.
It's coming up, because right now the Soldiers is, and it finally broke the top 20 on the active rock chart. So, you know, let's see if we can get it, if we can get it in the top 10. But now this is like the home stretch for it, so we have to start thinking of the second single. And the issue that we're running into between management and our label is that we can't decide which one is going to be the next single.
That's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem.
Absolutely.
You know, we've been fortunate enough to have been told that, you know, we have an album full of singles. You know, any song could be a single off the album.
Which one do you think, Wesley?
Don't Apologize is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Obviously, just such a full, rich song that just really gets your blood flowing.
Yeah.
And I know you have an intro at the beginning of the album, but it's the first song after that, and I want to say it's Die Trying, but
Die For You.
Die For You. Okay, I knew it was Die something, because You know, nowadays we don't sit there and hold the albums like we used to and memorize everything. Right. It's just, you know, press play and there it is, and you never even see song names anymore.
But you know what's cool on that tip, Russ, is that that True Love Never Dies has, as of today, it is sold more physical copies than it has digital copies. So that's kind of unique.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, our Clay showed me the sound scans or whatever.
Well, that's phenomenal, and a large part of that is attributable to the fact that you guys get out there like a lot of the younger bands are doing now and talking to the fans, and because they're really getting into you at the shows and everything, they want it right then and there. Because a lot of them haven't had the chance to hear about you. It's like, I brought a friend to the Lacuna Coil show and they were like, Lacuna Coil was great, but who the fuck was that other band? You know, they were awesome.
That's cool, man.
And I tried to bring him back tonight, but his wife's like, no, you're watching the kids. So anyway, I know you guys got to get ready and everything. You guys are here for 100.3 The X, our local rockin' radio station and everything.
Power rotation on that.
Absolutely. And I know you just got back from doing an interview with them over at the station, so you got to get everything going, so I don't want to keep you much longer. But you guys have a great, unique symbol and everything that symbolizes the band. You've got it on the side of your van, you got your ring there and everything.
Put it in there!
What's the story behind that? How'd that come about?
Well, this is our take on a phoenix. My brother and I were lucky enough to be in the same fraternity in college, and we learned a lot from that organization and the brotherhood and the guys we got to meet through that experience. And the Phoenix is the mascot for SAE, which is Sigma Alpha Epsilon. And it represents. It's so weird, Russ, because everybody knows the story of the Phoenix. The bird, it burns, and then it rises from its own ashes, and it continually does that. And we've been through so many trials and tribulations to get to this point that it seems as though every time everything kind of implodes and catches on fire and burns down, we come back even stronger. So it's just everything just. It's weird how everything just has worked out for us, and this is our bat signal right here.
There you go.
It's our call to arms, the Warbird.
Well, here you are in Boise, kicking off the newest tour for True Love Never Dies. 100.3 The X brought you guise here along with Redline Chemistry, another band I absolutely love. Has a lot of that 90s grunge-ish vibe to it, but modern sound and everything. So it's going to be a great show tonight. We're glad you're back so quickly. We hope you come back a lot.
Thank you for doing this again.
I just hope that, when you reach that Nickelback status, it's no, you're too small anyway.
Metalholic, baby. Metalholics.